Hi, my name is Michelle Fox. Welcome to my presentation on a cross-cultural assessment of Italy. This is for the class Cultural Diversity, Spirituality, and Ethics in Healthcare. Here's a graph comparing the demographic comparisons between Italy and the United States in such metrics as total population, total gross national income per capita, life expectancy at birth, probability of dying under 5, probability of dying between 15 and 60, and total expenditure on healthcare per capita also includes total expenditure on healthcare as part of the gross domestic product. We've all studied the ancient culture of Rome in our history books when we were in junior high school and elementary school, but the modern day country of Italy was born in 1861. It followed a successful revolution to separate Tuscany, Modena, Parma, Bologna, Romagna, Lombardy, and Venetia from the Austrian Empire. Officially, the language of Italy is Italian, but there are over 30 distinct dialects of Italian. Roman Catholicism has a huge presence in Italy, but so does the Jewish, Hindi, and Buddhist faiths. And also, they practice in rural areas traditional folk spells, and they're used for things like making birds stay out of a newly planted field, or making warts disappear, and even there's one for making dogs go away. Educationally, only 22% of Italians aged 25 to 35 years old seek a higher education. It's in comparison to the worldwide average of 39%. So they're a little bit lower in the higher education category compared to the rest of the world. Despite being lower in higher education than the rest of the world, the largest age group in Italy is age 45 to 59, and they excel in engineering and the metallurgy professions. Particularly of note in the metallurgy is the Lamborghini and Ferraris, which I love. It exports a large amount of olive oil, tomatoes, and rice, but it imports much of its meat. Despite the need to import raw materials, the chemical sector is very active. Textiles make up one of Italy's largest industries. The agricultural industry is larger in the southern half of Italy than it is in the northern portion of the country. As far as healthcare practices in Italy, there's a huge population of Italy that practices self-medication techniques. That's significant because in those people, up to 2/3 of the self-medication results in inappropriate self-medication. So there's a great need for self-medication education for Italian patients. Ideally, the Italian healthcare system is based on the belief that every citizen should have access to healthcare and that the system covers all needed procedures. The access to healthcare is unbearable, but there are still problems with the Italian healthcare system. Studies show that there are med discrepancies in 92 out of every 366 patients, with the most common discrepancy being an omission of a prescribed medication when a patient transfers from one level of care to another. So during handoff from the hospital to a SNF, they get a medication omission when that's significant. How does the Italian healthcare system rank globally? It seems to depend on what source you go to. If you go to the World Health Organization and U.S. News and World Report, they both rank Italy healthcare system number 2 in the world, second only to France. However, according to the Legatum Institute's Prosperity Index, Italy's healthcare system wasn't even ranked among the top 13 countries globally. In summary, as a nurse from America going to Italian patients, or if a nurse in America gets an Italian patient for the purposes of cross-cultural nursing, there would be a great need for counseling and teaching for self-medication behaviors of over-the-counter medications. There's a need for assessing for beliefs in folk spells, such as healthcare practices for rural patients. And there's also a need for better handoff techniques from one level of care to another so that med errors and omissions can be reduced. Thank you for patiently watching my presentation. Here's a list of references from the materials that this information came from. Thank you for watching.